fixed exchange rates, could then it'll be easier to fight inaccuracy.
Okay, so the question relates to the exchange rate regime that a nation runs. So you can either fix your exchange rates that peg them against other currencies, or you can float them in the foreign exchange market and let supply and demand set the price of your currency. What most people don't understand is that in August 1971, when President Nixon abandoned the gold convertibility to the US dollar under the previous Bretton Woods agreement, that the whole world changed, and we entered the era of fiat currency systems. Now, it's not exactly true to say that everyone started off with fixed exchange rates and then shifted over. There's been lots of different arrangements in history of monetary systems. But in general, no country should peg their currency against another. And the reason for that is because as soon as you peg your currency to another, you lose control of your domestic policy. And the reason for that is that domestic policy then has to work not to maintain full employment and whatever. It has to work to stabilise the exchange rate. And the Bretton Woods system, which was agreed on after the Second World War as a means of maintaining financial stability, global financial stability, that dramatically failed. And that's why it was abandoned finally. And the reason it failed is because countries that were running external deficits, current account deficits, in other words, they were importing more than they were exporting, say, as an example, they were always faced with deflationary bias in their domestic economy. Why? Because their central bank, because the current account deficit meant that manifested in foreign exchange markets with more people wanting to sell their currency than wanting to buy it. They wanted to sell it to buy the imports, and people wanted to buy it to buy the exports. And so if you've got a current account deficit, there's more people wanting to sell your currency than wanting to buy it. And so that puts downward pressure on the exchange rate. Now, under the Bretton Woods Agreement, that required the central bank to intervene into the foreign exchange market and address that excess supply of currency. And they did that by withdrawing currency from the money markets. And they did it also by pushing up interest rates so that capital would, out in the capital account of the balance of payments, you would attract foreign direct investment to try to alleviate the gap in the trade account. Now, with higher interest rates, withdrawing the money supply, that's highly deflationary. And the problem was then that countries like France and Britain were always faced with this stop-go growth process where they'd start to grow a bit and increase employment, and the current account would go into deficit, and then central bank would have to intervene to defend the exchange rate, and then they'd have to push the economy into stop again, recession. And so politically that was an unsustainable system. Countries like Germany could wax lyrical because they had always current account surpluses, mostly. And so there was no domestic deflationary bias in that situation. They just sit back and say, okay. And so that system collapsed because it was unviable. And the only viable system is a flexible exchange rate system where you don't tie up domestic policy to defending an exchange rate. You tie up domestic policy to targeting things that matter, like employment and infrastructure and things like that. And one of the major problems of the whole European mess over the last 50 years has been they've been trying to hang on to fixed exchange rates in one form or another. You know, they had the snake in the early 70s in the tunnel, then the snake got out of the tunnel because it couldn't stay in it, and then they had the ERM, and then they finally morphed into the EMU. But all of those systems failed because the structure of the French and German, Italian and Spanish economy is incapable of supporting stability of exchange rates between them without dire consequences for the deficit countries.